What is going on, everybody? So today we're going to take a look at some eBay buy it nows and auctions that have ended over the past 7 days. This is going to be worldwide. We're going to look at sealed product, then singles and slabs. And most of these are going to be more expensive. All of them, I think, are over $5,000, maybe a few. Actually, I think a few of these are under $5,000, but most of them are higher end stuff. We're going to start off with sealed as always. First up, we have a Plasma Storm Elite Trainer box that sold for $7,000. This ended yesterday, actually, Friday morning there. Next up, we have Ancient Origins booster box. This sold for $3,700 USD. This was from the States. And I think a lot of these have been selling. Last week, we had one sell for, I think, $4,300 buy it now. And then there were a couple auctions in the $3,700, $3,800 range. So this is kind of in line with what we've been seeing. I will harp on the photos again, just not the best. You want to have good lighting. You want to zoom in. Like, you don't want to see background stuff like this. So this seller probably could have got more for their box if they just spent a little bit of time taking better photos with better lighting. But I digress. Moving on, we have 10 Hidden Fates Elite Trainer boxes that sold for $3,500 or best offer. I didn't actually put this into 130 point, so you guys can let me know if it went for a little bit less than this. But probably was around that. I mean, we saw a huge move on Hidden Fates this week. It seems like kind of a buyout is happening, and there really weren't that many boxes on the market, but I was surprised with how much it moved this week, getting close to $400 a regular ETP at this point. So moving on, we have Neo Genesis. This is one booster pack, first edition, sold for $3,000 USD. This was from a seller in Michigan. Again, not the best photos, guys. Like, if you're selling a $3,000 pack, maybe take better photos. Like, if we can see your legs in the background, not ideal there. Next up, this is a sealed case of EV Heroes booster boxes, sold for $5,146, 107 bids. This was through Probstein out of the US. And we have a couple more booster boxes to get through. So first up, we have a Diamond and Pearl Secret Wonders box that sold for $11,400. This was again through Probstein, 53 bids there. But over $11,000 for a booster box. It's nice to see some of these actually go on auction. Not in the best shape, but honestly, it's probably hard to find minty boxes from this era. Next up, we have a case of Burning Shadows booster boxes. This sold for $4,850, 38 bids, and this was from TCA Gaming. Shout out TCA one time. And then next up, I think this is the final one, a case of Lost Origin booster boxes sold for $3,000 and 69 cents, giggity, 23 bids there, and this was from Pennsylvania, US. So a lot of stuff is coming from the States, but I promise I did filter this by worldwide, and I think some of these cards we'll see here are going to be coming from different parts of the world. This one's not, though. Well, I guess technically different country, same continent. This is a PSA 10, this is the Pikachu XY promo card, I believe. This is probably one of my favorite cards that Pokemon's ever printed. I love this thing. Very difficult to find these in PSA 10s. The pop report is quite low. And this sold from Slab Sharks for $5,961, approximately USD. 39 bids there. That's coming from Canada. Next up, we have a BGS 10 non-black label that sold for $6,200 USD. This is the Grunt Pikachu Japanese card, and 75 bids there coming from Probstein in the US. We have a couple ponchos on the list this week. This is the Charizard one, PSA 10. This sold for 5,500 euros, 69 bids. This was coming from Spain. Next up, we have a pair of BGS 9.5s, the Gyarados and Magikarp ones. This sold for $7,610 USD, approximately 5,600 pounds. This was coming from the United Kingdom, so it's good to see some other parts of the world getting in on the fun. Next up, we have a Rayquaza Gold Star PSA 8. This sold for $12,100 through Probstein. So in the US again, 51 bids there. I think there was also a PSA 7 that sold this week for like $8,000 or something. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I saw a couple more Rayquaza Gold Stars going. I just picked the most expensive one because I figured it would be the most interesting for you guys. Next up, we have a PSA 10, the Latias and Latios GX card, $6,315 USD. Only 2 bids there. through PSA. I imagine there's probably a minimum price on this. That is just my guess based on there only being 2 bids on it. And that card's selling about right in line with what a sealed team up box is going for right now. I think last time we looked at team up boxes in the Sun and Moon part of the spreadsheet, the average was like $6,200 USD per box. So pretty close to what the PSA 10 copy of the Chase card's going for at this point. Next up, we have a couple of the Mew EX promos. These just continue to climb. $17,700 USD. This is for a CGC Pristine 10. So maybe there's like a little more value in this than a PSA 10. This is coming from China, Zhejiang. This is the same seller as last week that was selling all of these. We also had a PSA 10 copy sell from PSA, directly from PSA in the States. This one went for $16,450. So even the PSA 10 copies are continuing to move up, 43 bids there. And just a couple more cards here to end out the video. We have a BGS 10 non-black label of the Moonbryon in English that sold for $3,300 USD. And I threw this one in here because it's another example of just really bad photos. The card isn't even aligned with eBay, right? It's horizontal, it should probably be vertical. Lighting's not great, there's glare on the card. The person put one of these cards. I know if you're selling in groups on Facebook, right, people want to have a timestamp in there, but honestly on eBay, you just don't have to do this. This seller could probably get more for their cards if they just took the time to take decent photos and edit them half decently. But either way, $3,300 there for a Moonbryon. And then the final one I wanted to throw in here, a black label Moonbryon did sell in English. I couldn't find the card in 130 point, but I imagine it probably sold for around $13,000. The most recent black label that sold through Z&G Emporium went on auction. This was at the end of May, May 25th, $13,310 USD with 30 bids. So if you guys can find this one in 130 point, definitely feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know how much it went for exactly. But I figured it was worth throwing in just to show that there are some expensive modern cards that still are moving. Now, there is one thing I want to address at the end of this video, just because yesterday in my comment section, I had an anonymous person libeling me saying that my spreadsheet data was completely incorrect. I was purposely leaving out, dozens and dozens of ETBs. For example, for Crown Zenith, I think they said there was over 100 ETBs listed. I said there was only 39 or whatever. I'm going to walk you guys through how this actually works, because I understand people are going to say anonymous stuff in the comments and they don't really care if what they're saying is truthful or not. But if I'm at the point now where people playing dress up on the internet are calling me out in their videos and purposely taking like 5-second clippets to prove their point, even though that might not be the full story, we're going to just put this out there to set the record straight. So I'm going to walk you guys through how this works. And remember, this data is going to be from a different day, so these numbers are probably going to be off. There might be more ETBs or less ETBs on the market depending on what happened. So yesterday, $168.75, that was TCG player value. A 20% leg up is $202.50. And the reason we only take boxes below a 20% leg up is we want to see boxes that are actually going to sell, right? Like you could put up Crown Zenith ETBs for $500. Nobody's going to buy them. It's not actually going to be affecting market price in the short term. We want to see what's actually impacting market price. So yesterday, there were 39 ETBs listed below 202.50, and I'm hoping today it's probably going to be a number close to that. So what we do, we go to eBay, we write in Crown Zenith Elite Trainer Box, buy it now. We go to advanced here, we scroll down, we make sure that we're in North America, because again, everything is in North America. The only thing that I don't track in North America is XY, that's worldwide instead of just the localized region. And that also now includes auctions instead of just buy it now. It's just because that's kind of how you get the better data for the older stuff. But for this newer stuff, not super relevant. You can see here though, 105 results for Crown Zenith ETB. Now, the reason why this is just blatantly false is because one, a lot of these boxes are going to fall outside that 20% leg up. But then two, you can see here, a lot of these listings that match the search result aren't even Crown Zenith Elite Trainer boxes. So we need to go and we need to find every ETB under $202.50, if that makes sense. So we go here, again, we're sorting by lowest listed, and we'll scroll all the way down until we find the first ETB of Crown Zenith that's unopened. You can see here it's $150. And I probably wouldn't even include these ones. Like you can see here, $133 from a brand new seller. I would go on a limb and say these are potentially scams, but either way, just to prove in today's example, we'll open both of these. And the reason we have to open them is because some of these can be multi-quantity listings. Like you can see here, this listing was ended, so that one's not even going to be included. This one box up at 133, whatever. If that's a scam or not, who knows? We will count it for today's example, though. Normally, I take a pretty close look at what's going on to make sure I'm not including scammed boxes, stuff from China, etc. But we'll go here and we'll open all of these. That is the 152.50 one. We'll go here, and again, we got to get everything below $202.50. We keep going. We continue to open these. You guys are probably going to hear my fans in the background start to take off, but I don't want to edit this. I might edit like a couple pauses when I'm going through this. And again, like, you guys are more than welcome to spend the hours doing this if you don't believe it. Again, like, this is a new listing as well, so this probably wasn't included in yesterday's data. And that's just one thing you guys are going to have to understand, is that some of these boxes were listed later yesterday or today, so they weren't included, right? So here we're at 209.74. That's not going to be included because we're only going up to 202.50. This one's below 202.50. This one at 200, we're going to include. Same thing here. This one's at 209.95, not included. Keep scrolling down. 190, yep, that's under. 200's under. 199's under. Now we're at 217, not included. 219, 220. So all of these now are above $202.50. And you can see here, these are tons of results that if you only take a superficial look at the value, you'd probably include, but they're not super relevant, right? So what we want to do now is we want to go into all of these and just count, right? This is not a multi-quantity listing. It would show here, so we just count it as one. The next one, you can see it's 2. So 1 and 2 is 3. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 14, 7 is 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Go to the next one, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So actually today, there are only 32 ETBs listed below 202.50 for Crown Zenith. And yesterday it was 39, right? So that's a far cry from there apparently being hundreds of ETBs on the market. I promise you, there are not hundreds of ETBs below a 20% leg up. If you want to spend the time going through and double checking this, hey, if you really want to spend 2 to 3 hours doing that, go ahead and do it. So hopefully that makes sense and clears things up. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you're having a great weekend. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.